are Ancient Stegadons, both versions, Chef's Kiss in patch 6.3.1. Because I was in such a rush to cover the new Blessed units, I'm only now going back to the basic model of the first missile platform Ancient, but the Engine of the Gods deserves its own section. Because who doesn't love space lasers from space? Recruited for 1950 gold and 488 upkeep, and it bears mentioning now, in the current system this is from the Tier 5 Beast building, which has drawn some controversy. On Ultra it comes in at 9,894 health, a mighty 130 armor, 15% missile resistance, pretty stiff 75 leadership, speed 50 and charge speed 90 is Stegadon standard, despite the extra mass. However, as has been maligned, its base melee attack is only 26. Could be worse, but I get it, you don't like it. Attack interval 3.5, like the younger ones, is pretty spry, the standard being 4. Splash of size is medium, so Jade Lancers on down, and in the new system, max targets damaged by splash is 5. More can be tossed, but only 5 will suffer health loss. Melee defense of 32 is unchanged. From the standard Stegadon, weapon strength of 480 is significantly better, split base 140, and armor piercing 340. Also, it has a bonus versus infantry of 18, which helps a lot against massed troops. Charge bonus of 70, and mass of 5,500. The ranged weapon has been improved, to the point ammunition 10 comes off as wildly misleading. It takes a long time for the main weapon to run out, and the unlisted secondary weapon is a mirror of the main weapon itself. Maximum range is 115 in a wide cone, official strength 550, and carries normal poison, this being the base variant. Each projectile does base 41 and armor piercing 13 damage, meaning the ranged weapon is much better at slaughtering average infantry than heavily armored knights. It is 8 projectiles in a full volley, and recently-ish this no longer carries artillery morale penalties. It carries ranged morale penalties just fine. Reload time is 8 seconds. Total accuracy of 35, and that is the rank 0 figure. It gets better, means it tends to get value for shots. Calibration distance 90 means extra accurate. Within that, calibration area 15 means that despite the total accuracy, there is a large amount of natural drift, but since this is meant as an anti-unit weapon, excess accuracy would be cutting against the grain. There is a penetration cap of small, and max targets pinned after the first of 2, so if you're lucky, multiple goblins can be struck. As expected, this is a siege attacker, causes fear and terror, has wall breaker in current era, and has primal instincts for last stands. In addition, even though it can deliberately target at ranged, the ranged weapons are fire whilst moving, so it can and will fire on the move and in melee, providing constant extra DPS assuming targets are not somehow out of its arc, usually from charging animations pushing it forward. The Engine of the Gods variant requires the Tier 5 Beast building, but no longer requires any other building. Cost is 2,050 gold and 513 upkeep, and the melee stats are 100% identical, and it completely lacks the rapid-fire projectile weapon, but does have a Bastiladon-like unlisted projectile, so I'm speculating it's in fact identical to that. Stats will go up on screen. So that inflicts poison. It helps a lot if you don't already have poison going in. In fact, this is the only reason it would have the fire whilst moving in the traits to begin with. So the main difference, obviously, is burning alignment. 2 uses in battle, 120 second cooldown, 100 meters targeting range, and is targeted like a wind spell, 12 seconds duration. The damage is magical and flaming. The mighty wind-up means that it's probably not used much in multiplayer, but I'll show its effects in demo combat, and I had to do a second take or I'd be putting, not at all kidding, epilepsy warnings out. It's bright and flashy up close. Here's the stats from Tehenwin's mount, and yes, 12 meters a second, 10 seconds actual beam duration. This thing covers a huge amount of ground. Entities caught are taking 24 damage per second, that is 100% armor piercing. This isn't the biggest blob destroyer, but considering the unusually immense line covered, and 8 meter radius means that 16 meters wide, it softens up a lot of stuff. There are 2 passives with it. Portent of Warding gives 5% ward save to all allies within 35 meters, so laugh off 5% of damage? Sounds good. Arcane Configuration is half an Arcane Conduit worth of Wind's Magic Recharge, plus 20%. This means that in terms of pure winds recharge, high-level priests on one as they mount get the winds of a greater arcane conduit. In the redline skills, Beast Driver returns at 3 pips, granting plus 6 melee attack, plus 12% weapon strength, and plus 8% missile strength. Epicentrist will give rank 7 and up ones armor plus 10, leadership plus 5, and charge bonus plus 12 flat. In the tech tree, Tablet of Beasts for plus 2 recruit rank, Great Beast Resilience for plus 5 melee defense and plus 15% more missile resistance, Great Beast's Rampage for melee attack plus 5, and charge bonus plus 15 flat. So don't forget how massive the charge bonus is. It's a key feature of the unit, despite its very decent performance in plain melee. The rest is cost and upkeep reduction, partly the tech tree, partly followers, blessings, and so on. So how to use the ancient Stegadons? People have complained they shouldn't be tier 5, but first of all, something has to be. And the lack of other complications means you can use whichever one suits your needs. Others have said there's literally no reason to recruit the units because you can just level heroes up to get them. Yeah, well, the chiefs cannot get Engine of the Gods, and you are going to be limited by your number of heroes, but that's up to you. Also, the priests take quite a long time to get on an Engine of the Gods. The bottom line is that the unit is hardly bad in melee, and if you spec into dinos at all, even that Beast Driver plus 6 melee attack does an awful lot to shore things up. The armor is really high, the regular acts as an extremely difficult to tangle with missile platform, augmenting your other forces, and the Engine of the Gods may not always be as useful, but when it is useful, it is eye-popping. And of course, space lasers from space! Because that's fun. And if it lands properly, it can break entire armies. Well, with terror routing or undead crumbling at least. Take care, and have fun showing those young dinos you still have a lot of punch left in you. That and show off how handsome you are. Now there are even more faction colors to flaunt.